You know, I'm starting to think that the growth of not only MLS in this country, but just soccer in general has been like a trickling effect or like a train reaction. I can't really think of the right word to say, but other sports leagues has taken notice, in my opinion. You know, MLS being arguably the fastest growing league, not only in this country, but in the world. Other leagues have been taking notice. You see the changes that NBA has been taking to find players that really love basketball and to find players that really want to compete. This is why you have in-season tournament. This is why you have play-in tournament. Trust me, if NBA didn't have this issue of having players on the roster who didn't want to compete, these implementations, these in-season tournaments, they would not have been brought to existence. Look at Major League Baseball. You know, like 2 years ago, I said that Major League Baseball was dying and it was eventually not going to be popular anymore. Looks like I'm wrong. Because Major League Baseball is modernizing itself to a point where they're realizing if we don't form a relationship with our younger audience, we're going to fall behind MLS in being the face of American sports in the summer. Because for years, decades, Major League Baseball has always been the number one summer sport in this country. Now with MLS, you got Leagues Cup, you got CCC, CONCACAF Champions Cup, you got US Open Cup, and the level of play in the league is increasing. I'm not seeing key players leave MLS teams in the middle of the season anymore. That's the biggest change, the biggest sign of growth that I've seen from MLS this year so far. Key players are not leaving the team in the middle of the season. Because as I've been saying since 2022, you're not a major American league when key players are not on your, can just leave at any point of the season. You're not a major professional sports league when that happens. You're an amateur league. Clubs that sells key players in the middle of the season are not major professional clubs. They're amateur developmental clubs. They're not serious. I've been saying that since 2022, and I'm going to keep saying that. So, you know, the competition is really fierce. NBA has taken notice of the growth of MLS. Major League Baseball have taken notice. And they're going to continue to fight hard to make sure that that soccer league that was once known as an amateur league, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that that soccer league don't surpass them in popularity. And even though NFL is not a summer league, they're thinking about ways on how they can be a year-round league like MLS. Because one thing you should know about MLS is that there's not a real off season in MLS. The season is from February to December. And then in January, it's preseason. And then the league starts again. The new season starts again in February. So there's no real off season in MLS. Every month, something is going on. Every month, throughout the whole year, every 12 months, each month during the year, the league is always active. In NFL, I mean, their offseason is way too long. Way too long, in my opinion. NFL offseason shouldn't be as long as it is, in my opinion. It's way too long. I think sometime in the 2030s or the 2040s, they're going to find some way to shorten that offseason. And I think flag football is going to play a heavy role in that. Now, that'll be sometime in the 2030s or the 2040s. It's all going to be dependent on, what's the outcome of this 2028 Olympics. The title of this message for today is Standing on Business. That's the theme for the 100th edition of Cali Classico between LA Galaxy and the San Jose Earthquakes. You see, this rivalry is heavily overlooked. You see, El Tráfico, it's gotten to the point where it's globally recognized. People throughout the world know about El Tráfico. When it comes to Cali Classico, it's still local. I'm not even sure if it's big nationwide as of yet. But one thing I know about Cali Classico, the difference between Cali Classico and El Tráfico. El Tráfico is a popularity contest. El Tráfico is like a beauty pageant where all the stars are going at each other. Cali Classico is a straight up street fight. There's no popularity when it comes to Cali Classico. There's no love. There's no glamour. There's no fashion attached to Cali Classico. It's a straight up street fight. Figuratively speaking. Figuratively speaking. And when it comes to street fights, figuratively speaking, there's no rules. Your record doesn't matter. Just toss that out the window. And speaking of tossing records out the window, San Jose Earthquake, this Sunday night, it's go time. You're entering in this match. Your record is 0-0-0. You are not defined by how you have started the season. You're going to be defined by how you find a way to find solutions to your problems. Just because you start the season off at the bottom does not mean that you will end the season at the bottom. But only you can determine your destiny, San Jose Earthquakes. Let's start a new season on Sunday night. Let's not even think about your current record, but think about starting a new season by beating your arch rival in their house. They're the popular team right now. They took the message that I presented at the beginning of this season, taking back what's yours, and they have run with it. Like, I have, from the time I've been speaking about MLS, I've never seen like a team that just take the message instantly and just run with it and being so successful with it. I didn't think the LA Galaxy would be playing this good since opening day back in February. DC United, they've taken the message. They're playing good too. Not as good as the Galaxy, but that's going to come with time. They still got to make some adjustments with the roster. DC United will be fine. But this is not about DC United. This is about LA Galaxy, San Jose Earthquakes. LA Galaxy, they're on a mission this decade. As we're entering the second half of this decade, they have to remind us who they are. Because in the past years, LAFC has been the face of MLS. The Seattle Sounders have been the face of MLS. Columbus Crew is now the face of MLS. So LA Galaxy had to remind us this decade who the true king of American soccer is. American club soccer, that is. They got to remind us who the team that has the most stars in Major League Soccer. They have to remind us who the most historic team in Major League Soccer is. They have to remind us who they are. Because of social media and so many entertainment options and the rise of tech, we got so much going on. It's very easy for us to forget. Very easy for modern day sports fans to forget greatness in history. That's why it's very imperative that LA Galaxy have no more years of being mediocre. So just because they're at the top of Major League Soccer, don't think that they're coming in this match with a relaxed attitude. LA Galaxy is coming for everybody. LA Galaxy said it's revenge season. All the teams that used to embarrass us between the middle of the 2010s through 2023, we're coming back with vengeance. And they're going to try to embarrass you, San Jose. You see, San Jose, LA Galaxy is a team that never had any pity for you. They love the fact that you're at the bottom of MLS. And they're going to do everything they can to make sure that you stay at the bottom. So they're not entering this match with some kind of arrogant attitude, thinking that they're just going to easily beat you. They know they're better than you. And they're going to try to embarrass you. So you got to stand up for yourself, San Jose Earthquakes. You got to stand up for yourself. And that's what standing on business is about, San Jose Earthquakes. Standing on business is about standing up for yourself, not letting anybody bully you, not let anybody push you around. That's what standing up on business is about, San Jose. And speaking of greatness reminding us who they are, there's another guy in Los Angeles who got to remind us who he is. And that's LeBron James of the LA Lakers. You see, there's been a lot of LeBron slander for a very, very long time. A lot of us have forgot who the king of basketball is. I mean, it has gotten so bad, like every little thing, people try to make fun of him. And people have been trying so hard to tarnish his image. Some people saying that he's taking illegal drugs. Some people are saying that he's connected to an entertainment mogul who's caught up in a certain controversy. Some people trying to link him to that guy. During the Golden State Warriors run, a lot of people said that LeBron just wasn't good enough to compete against the Warriors. And some even suggested that he should join them. It's just been a lot of LeBron James slander for the past many years, ever since he left Miami, or ever since he went to Miami. There's been a lot of LeBron slander. A lot of people are jealous. How can a man in his late 30s still be able to play basketball at a high level? We never seen something like this before. Well, that's what makes him great. The fact that we never seen somebody in their late 30s play at a high level, that's what makes him great. But a lot of people don't see it that way. Some think he's cheating. Some think the NBA is helping him out. I don't know how they come up with that thought. So, I don't believe he's going to play for the rest of this decade. But for however long he's going to be playing in this decade, he, along with the LA Galaxy, he also has to remind us who he is, the same way LA Galaxy has to remind us who they are this decade. However many more seasons LeBron James is going to be playing in the NBA for the rest of this decade, he has to remind us who he is. And that's the king of basketball. The new GOAT. Every city that LeBron steps to during this playoff series, during this, not only this series, but during this playoff, however long he's going to be in it, he has to remind everybody that he's the king. Because obviously, a lot of us have forgot who he is. So starting this playoff year, he needs to remind us who he is. It's very important that he gets another ring. He has to get another ring before he retires. Because a lot of us have forgotten who he is. And if this season is going to be his last playoff season, then he needs to leave as the king. I mean, he needs to leave reminding us that he is the king. And that's by getting a ring. The disrespect has gotten so bad that people are doubting him against the Nuggets. Some even suggested that he should have tanked against in the play-in. Like, how can you say something like that to a king? That's because a lot of us have forgotten who you are, LeBron James, and you got to remind us who you are. You have to. You have to remind us who you are, because a lot of us forgot. You know, speaking of the king, continue on this king talk. I believe we need a new home run king in Major League Baseball. This is not because I believe that I don't believe that Barry Bonds did anything wrong. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Whether or not he cheated, that's none of my business, and I don't care. He's a home run king. But mainly because it's just a lot of negative publicity currently surrounding the current home run king. I think one thing that will help Major League Baseball remain the number one summer sport, the number one summer league in America, is that one guy who's pursuing to be the new home run king. I think that will be able to carry Major League Baseball on the entertainment side of things, at least for the rest of this decade, when you have multiple guys that are competing to be the new home run king. Like if you have Giancarlo Stanton, Mike Trout, and Ozuna from Atlanta, and maybe two more other guys. At least if you have three guys, it looked like the top three for now looks like it will be Giancarlo Stanton, Mike Trout, and Ozuna from Atlanta. Now, if you have two more guys pursuing to be the home run king, that would be great. I mean, yeah, you got Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Ohtani. So I really think that will help people to get back to being excited about Major League Baseball. The league's already doing things with, the new jerseys, and changes to the pitch count or the pitch clock. I just think that if we're able to witness a new home run king, of course, that would be sometime in the 2030s, but if we see guys pursuing to be the home run king in the 2020s, that will carry Major League Baseball for the rest of this decade. And then when we get to the 2030s, the excitement will continue because we'll be able to see a new home run king. And I think that Major League Baseball should make some minor changes so we can see so we can have more home runs during the week. Now, I know that's going to be a lot of public debates and stuff surrounding that. At least until we get a new home run king, just some changes should be made so we can have more home runs. And then once the new home run king is crowned in the 2030s, Major League Baseball can go back to being boring. Now back to MLS. There's another team that has been standing on business ever since last year. They haven't slowed down. They haven't relaxed. And that's the Columbus Crew. You see, the script for this year's CONCACAF Champions Cup was that for the Final Four, for it to be an all-Mexican affair. The plan from the sports gods was that it was going to be a Liga MX Final Four. The Mexicans had plans to throw a fiesta. It was going to be a celebration of Liga MX's dominance in North America. But the Columbus Crew said, not this year. The Columbus Crew is the party pooper for this year's CCC Final Four. The Columbus Crew is the disruptor for this year's Final Four. The Columbus Crew said they're going to flip the script. They weren't supposed to make it this far. No MLS club was expected to make it this far in the CCC this year. But the Columbus Crew, they have different plans. And they're the last MLS club standing for an opportunity to become a North American champion this year. You see, Supporter Shield is important. Leagues Cup is important. MLS Cup is important. Getting another star, catching up with DC United. Yeah, all that's very important. But none of that is bigger than a CCC championship. You see, with MLS, Leagues Cup, and Supporter Shield, you're the national champion, the league champion. But with a CCC championship, you're the continental champion. That means you're not only the champion of USA, you're the Mexican champion, the Canadian champion, the Central American champion, and the Caribbean champion. You're the best club in the Western Hemisphere. And with a CCC title, you have an opportunity to become a global champion in the Club World Cup. You see, the Seattle Sounders, they provided the blueprint. All you have to do, Columbus Crew, is don't lose in Mexico. A draw is fine. A win is even better. But a draw is fine. What you cannot do is trail in the aggregate. You cannot lose in Mexico. It's two things. You can't lose in Mexico and you cannot trail in the aggregate. If any of those things happen, the Mexicans immediately have momentum. Avoid trailing in the aggregate and avoid losing in Mexico, and the Columbus Crew would definitely be able to crash the Mexican fiesta that they have planned. Now, they still have 3 remaining, so it could still be an all-Mexican affair in the CCC title. But it's up to the Columbus Crew to change that. And I believe the Columbus Crew is determined to make sure that it's not an all-Mexican affair in the CCC championship. And that's how the Columbus Crew is going to stand on business. That's what standing on business is for the Columbus Crew this summer. Your job is to make sure that Liga MX does not get that last spot remaining for the CCC. Your job is to make sure that you get that last spot, Columbus Crew. And that's how you'll be standing on business this summer.